Hello, and welcome to the Healing Path. Today, I'm super excited to share some things with you. But first, I'm Laura Donnelly, founder of the Healing Path Conversation Series and Dancing with Ease Body Brain Balance. People hire me to teach them to move out of pain and into healing. These conversations are with friends and colleagues, and the purpose is to offer all kinds of perspectives on healing in all kinds of areas in our lives. The thing that we have in common is the concept that healing begins inside ourselves with decision to heal and change, and it expands outward from there. I am very excited today that my guest is Leslie Kuster. She is a friend of another friend of mine, and so it was one of those meet online recommendation things. And she has a new book, which we're going to talk about today. And the reason I wanted to share this with you is reading her book, I discovered that after years and years of working and doing things and making money and being successful and losing money, because that's the story of my life, there's a lot of things in here that I found very, very helpful. And so I wanted her to come on, share her story with you, her journey, and inspire you to take your own healing journey around money and see what's possible. So I'll bring Leslie into the studio now. Hi.
Thank you. Hi, and thank you so much for that beautiful introduction. Yeah.
It's just so fun how we meet people. And in today's world, I think it's really important to share information and knowledge and to lift other people up if we can, the best way we can. So if you'd like to share a little bit how you decided to take this journey, and we'll just go from there.
I love what you're bringing to this presentation and to your podcast and everything that you do about healing and about moving away from pain into feeling joy and pleasure, because I really think that's the motivation we need to change our lives. So my story is that I did not want to get a job. That was my pain. Okay. The whole idea of getting a job and working in corporate and all of that, which is what I had been doing. And by the way, I'm taking you back 30 years. So that's how it all started. I went traveling to Bali, Indonesia. I fell in love with the freedom of traveling. And at some point, I had to go back to New York City, which is where I was living at that time, and get a job. My passion was so strong not to get the job that I had the idea of, wow, I wonder if I can import. I wonder if I could bring beautiful clothing back. And the pain of getting a job was so strong that I just did it. And I jumped on a plane. And that is how my business Back From Bali was born. And Back From Bali is a women's clothing resort wear, bohemian style, very creative, very free, colorful, comfortable clothing. And I sell it primarily on Amazon and on my own website too. So that is the story of how my business got started. But I would say about 5 years ago, another bit of pain came into my life. And that was the pain of feeling invisible, which is something I think a lot of people feel, and especially women feel. And it's definitely a very strong topic for women, this feeling of being not being frightened of being visible, being frightened of people seeing you, and yet at the same time, being absolutely, scared for it to happen and scared that it never happens, both of them.
Yeah.
And where I was at that time is I had brought my business to a very successful level. And that actually started about 10 years ago. Another pain. I relate to this so much because it really is what life is about. These painful moments, experiences are what pushes us to new directions. And my business I had for a long time, but it was not really financially successful. It gave me freedom, it gave me some money, but it really was not, would not call it a super successful business. And about 10 years ago, I made a very conscious decision that I am really sick and tired of feeling sick and tired of not having the money that I knew I could create if I really put my effort into it. I was sick and tired of feeling not that successful. I was sick and tired of waiting for my husband to buy the dream house. I was sick. I was sick and tired of myself. Absolutely. And that was, again, the pain. And because of those strong, strong feelings that I had, I made a lot of changes, and I was able to bring the business from where it was, which was at 5 figures in revenue in the year, to multiple 7 figures where it is now. And then again, about a few years ago, came the pain of feeling invisible. And therefore, I wrote the book. And I wrote this book here for women entrepreneurs who also feel they are sick and tired of being where they're at, sick and tired of not having the money, the independence, the feeling of success, the visibility that they want. And that is who the book is for, because that was my story.
Awesome. That's so cool. And it is partly visibility. It is partly sharing your message, speaking your truth into the world. And then I started reading the book, and one of the things that came up to me is I have like this split between my day job and my real love of what I really love to do in the world. And that I kind of carried it all the way through. I mean, as a professional dancer, when I was young and performing, everybody had a day job because your touring jobs ended, and then you had a blank time before the next job started. So they were mostly throwaway jobs, waiting tables, administration, whatever, simple office jobs. But I never really put together that I could do what I love and make money too. And uh, and so there were a couple of things that you said early in the book that I thought were really, what do I want to say, important to me. So like I had forgotten I made this split. Okay, this is kind of crazy, right? I forgot I made this split between money and making money with a job and doing what I really care about. So then today I'm thinking, well, do I believe that I cannot make money with the thing that I really care about? And I'm like, if I believe that, well, got to look at that one, and that's a lot of what's in your book too, as an encouragement and a guidance to ask yourself, the reader, challenging questions about maybe not where your ideas came from, because they all come from our growing up, our parents, the things we did, but how are these ideas serving you? And if they're not serving you, which I think is what you were talking about when I read the section of the book where you built your business from 50,000 way up, is you started to look at what wasn't working for you and how to change it. And then you had this sentence, you didn't believe it was possible until it was.
Yeah, that's exactly right. When I was sitting in that desk in my apartment feeling really like a failure, really frustrated, I was in my early 50s at the time. So I wasn't 20 years old any longer, and I was really just feeling a real sense of failure in my life. I just started to think about what were the beliefs that I had that could be stopping me from really getting to where I wanted to be going. And I realized that there were so many, and I'll just call it lies, just so many lies that I said to myself that I thought were real. I thought those beliefs were true beliefs. For example, I thought I was a spiritual person And so therefore, money is not important to me. I thought that if I become successful, I'm going to lose all of my freedom and I won't be able to do like the things I love to do, like meet a friend, for coffee or go to a yoga classes. So I had all of these beliefs that, I was this, therefore I couldn't have this. And what I did is I took out my journal and I wrote all of those down. And it's actually examples of that are in the book, 7 Keys to 7 Figures. And I wrote down, I am spiritual, therefore money is not important. I love my freedom, therefore, I can't be too successful. All of these things I wrote down and I rewrote it and put "and" in it. And that's what I would suggest, Laura, that you do too. So I am very spiritual and I have tons of money. I am incredibly successful and I have so much time and freedom. So I started to rewrite all of these wrong lies, because that's really what they were. They were lies. Or, it's not my job to make the money. It's my partner's job. Why do I have to do that? I wasn't raised that way. These strong beliefs that I had, I mean, I remember even with my first husband when I was, I think, I don't in my 20s. And I said to him, I remember saying to him, promise me you'll make this much money. And what astonishes me to this day, it never even occurred to me to ask myself that question ever. So these beliefs we have are so ingrained in ours that we don't even challenge them because we think they're true. They're not true, and they're holding us all back.
They're ideas, and we have invested time in them. We have maybe repeated them over and over. Um, the one about freedom is in order to have, I know it's laying down in there in the back. In order to have enough money, I have to give up my time freedom in order uh, to trade dollars for hours. And the idea, what if I could make the amount of money I need? What is enough for me? Because you ask all these questions too. What is freedom? And, uh, what is my definition of authentic success?
Mm.
And that's different for everybody, which you talk about in the book. It's different for everybody. And so if multiple seven figures is not the me that I see myself to be, doesn't mean I couldn't do it. I mean, early in my life, I lived in New York too. And my husband was an architect and my brother could build anything. And we made a partnership and we started buying and renovating real estate and selling it. And our goal was to become financially independent through real estate. And we did it. We actually even bought a building in Manhattan and we flipped it for $1 million, which is unheard of for these little, I come from a small rural town in Kansas. That was a really radical thing. But we forgot to put, financially independent through real estate for 15 years or 50 years, or we didn't give it a time. And we hit that marker, which you didn't really talk about it, but you talked about it in that you didn't even consider that you could say to yourself, well, I'm going to make this amount of money that I want my husband to make. We limit ourselves. And so I think that we did that big product. And then we said, okay, we did it. We were financially independent through real estate. And then we quit. Or I don't know. It was just like, I'm like, oh man, I forgot the key piece to the belief. How long did I want to continue this? And what else did you say in your book? You said, do what you're good at. And that part of the freedom that you created for yourself was to focus really on the things that only you could do in your business that nobody else could do. I think that's really powerful for entrepreneurs.
Well, I think it's sometimes a really hard question to ask yourself to find out is what are you good at and go and do that. And you hear that a lot, like, really just do the one thing that you're really, really good at. And sometimes it's really hard to figure that out. And not everybody's lucky enough to know the answer to that. So I think it's a much easier question to ask, what is it that you can't stand doing? Because I think everybody knows that one. Everybody knows that one. Um, you know, what is really important is that one becomes like honest with themselves about what they really want. And you mentioned authentic success before, and that is something I talk about in one of the first chapters is what is your authentic success and what does that mean to you? I mean, for me at the time, it meant not getting a job and doing anything possible so I don't have to go back into a New York City, office building and ride up to the 33rd floor. That to me, that was authentic success. What is authentic success to me 10 years ago? It was making money, having money, being financially independent, being able to buy my dream house. That was to me authentic success. What is authentic success to me right now? It's having the time to play pickleball because that is what's making me so incredibly happy, and having time to meditate and be and have coffee. These are so our authentic successes change all the time. But with this book, I'm really speaking to the woman entrepreneur or the woman working in an office or working in some other situation who is considering maybe leaving it to do something really different, maybe to be an entrepreneur, or the woman who already is an entrepreneur and she has her own business but is sick and tired of being sick and tired of not doing well enough. Okay, I'm not making enough money. And my message really is that women need to be financially independent. It is absolutely crucial for women to do this so they can live the life they want to live, do what they need to do with their children, buy $1,000 pair of shoes if that's what they want to do. There's no judgment here, but women need independence. And you cannot have independence without money. That's it. I talk about this a lot in the book too. I have many friends, and many people maybe hearing this have friends too who are married to quote wealthy men, wealthy partners, but they have no access to the money. They actually don't even know where it is. They don't even know how to find it. They're given maybe budgets, their credit cards are being paid, but God forbid that person gets sick and dies or leaves them or whatever, divorce happens, women are left in a very bad position. So this is really my message, is that it's like a matter of like personal development, personal safety, personal being proud of yourself, personal empowerment, that women make money. And for them to make money, they need to love money, and they need to want money, and they need to get rid of the shame and the political incorrectness of saying anything like that, because truthfully, women are not supposed to say things like that. They're supposed to say nice things, not things that appear to be so what can I say, not feminine.
Right, right. I've read some stuff recently about money, that money likes to have a purpose. Its purpose is to fuel your life, to help you take care of the people you love, and that I realized that I only think about money when I need it for something, right? I was never playing with it, you know, like just like I used to when I was younger. And things change, right? In your life, things change. Your jobs change, your life changes, your living situation changes. And so sometimes what you could do easily before, I don't know, somehow you just stop doing it, which is one of the things I think is really wonderful about reading books and having books is to reawaken things that you knew. But like to just see something that you say, oh, this person would love this, and you buy it for them just for fun because it will make them happy and it makes you happy to think about them and to think about giving it to them. And to for me, that's real freedom. For me, that's kind of a freeing thing to be able to do. And and not to have to be going like, well, I didn't budget for this, and so I don't have the extra, I don't know what, 25, 35, 45, $50. Doesn't even have to be a big thing. But recently I started thinking, redefining what would be freedom to me, and the ability to travel, not huge, but frequently on small trips. So the flexibility to take time off, but also to just go, like on a 5-day drive around where I live. It's really beautiful. And to be able to do that without, panicking and working really hard ahead of time and knowing I had to work really hard when I got back to catch up. So I could just organize it better so that it flowed better. Uh, it's it's a work in progress. And I think that that's part of what your book is about too, is it's a work in progress. You start somewhere, and you said that at the very beginning. What is our definition of freedom changes? What is the things that we need and want change as our lives change? And so to have the idea, well, I'm going to fix this money problem I have, and it's going to be fixed for the rest of my life. Oops, probably not.
Well, as soon as you say money problem, you already blew it, because money is not a problem. And again, that's just an idea of it. I just want to go back to women and money again, because this is where so many of us are stuck, and where I was stuck. And so I know this by experience, is that we are just not taught that making money, being successful, standing on our own feet, all of those kind of things are what would bring tremendous value to us and perception of value to us. We have been taught that, really hooking ourselves up with somebody else to give us these things is a value. Okay. And that is how we create our value, by having someone else, kind of a man or father, whatever, give it to us. And I really think we have to break this problem. And I even see it with young women as well. So money is a beautiful thing. It actually is just extremely neutral. And it's whatever we put on it, whether we think it's a money problem, or, money doesn't grow on trees, or, money is dirty, or money is something we shouldn't talk about, or, when I do consulting with women, business consulting, I often hear lines like, I would even do my business for no money. I love it so much. Well, why the hell would you do that? Why would you even say that? We have to say, we'll do it, but it's for my children, or we'll do it, but it's so I could help whoever. These are all restrictions that are restricting money to come to us. Money is just a beautiful, beautiful thing that we could use any way we want to use it. And by restricting it, it stays away from us. So what's most important is we all have to look at what's called our money stories. And those are, like you mentioned before, those are the stories we learned as children and who we grew up with, our parents or whoever raised us. These are our money stories. And our money stories are the reason why you are making money now or are not making money now. And it starts with knowing what our money stories are, because we need to listen. We need women to rise. This is a crazy world we're in right now. We really need women to rise. And there ain't no woman rising who can't even pay her light bill or her electricity bill. No one's rising. No one's speaking who's in that situation. And we really need women to rise. And this is the purpose of my book. I want to help women rise. I know what it feels like to not be there. And I really want to help women rise.
I think that's beautiful. And I think that I think through the book, through the information, through the questions you ask, and you kind of are asking people to go on a journey with their money through the book. You know, where did what ideas do you have? What ideas are influencing you now? While you were talking about, I remember my mom when I was young, she's saying to me, it's just as easy to fall in love with a rich man as a poor man.
I got that too.
Did you really?
Live in I don't know, in a penthouse. I remember her saying that to me.
I know. And I'm like, why would you even say that, Mom? And then, and she said to me, she said, well, that's what my mom said to me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, how bizarre. And what you said too is also important to know where the money is in your family, in your life, how to deal with it, because somebody could have an accident. I know I have a lot of friends whose partners are in the military, and they have to do a lot of this because somebody is about to be deployed, and so they take care of all of that, but that hasn't flowed into the general population of and sharing responsibility, and the idea that my dad died when I was a kid, and my mom did everything. She made all the money and did everything. And so for most of my life, I put all of that pressure on myself to do that also. And sometimes like, well, what if I had a partner? How would that be different if I didn't take all this on myself? Because. And so to just open the box and say, how can I look at this differently? How can I think about this differently? Like you said, the words money problem is a problem. It's a problem in thinking. But, like, how do I want to play with my money? And money is a tool. And just like a hammer, it can build a house or it can tear it down. And so I think education, which I think there's opportunity in your book for education, and there's a lot of stuff coming out. You mentioned Profit First in your book, and podcast places for people to get information to cause them to say, well, that's not an idea I ever had about my life or my money, and what limits do we put on ourselves? So like my family, I think we're buying and selling real estate, and we hit that threshold. We had a threshold, and above that threshold, we didn't feel comfortable moving.
Yeah.
And so we backed off, and we did things we knew we could manage comfortably. And a lot of what you're talking about is stepping out of your comfort zone.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the idea too that I think is important is you start right here, right now. So like when people start a business and they build a business like you did with your Back From Bali, is you had an idea and you started it and started going, and it grows, and you start doing more things and you start doing more things. And the spreadsheet you made where you looked at all of the things that had to happen in your business and who was doing each thing. And you said, I was the overworked employee, and I was the mean and domineering boss.
That was horrible.
Well, but I think women kind of fall into this. They're like, well, if I can do it, I should do it. And maybe, well, now see, it's easy for me to think about money. If I think about it, I can help somebody else with it. So that's another piece of this. Like, I don't need it for me. I need it to help other people. Okay.
Right, because as a woman, that's okay. That means
That's okay. That's not mean and selfish. That's not me grabbing the money for me. That's me grabbing money to be able to help other people. And so it is. So then what I would say is, I'm not through with the book, and I want to encourage people to think about the book launch, which is next
Tuesday. It's a week from today, Tuesday, September 26th at 12 o'clock Eastern time. And the book is launching. And I wanted to, at the launch party, of course, I want to celebrate that the book is coming out, but what I also wanted to give back to anybody who comes to the book launch. And I invited to speak at my book launch 5 women experts who really have helped me along in my business and in this book. So we have someone coming in publishing, editing. Also, we're having this amazing woman, Karen, who does platform building, and she has like hundreds and thousands of followers. Me, someone in media training, and my book launch marketer, Patty, who talks about launches. So the launch party is about the book and encouraging people to get the book, of course, but it also is going to give something to anyone who's interested in business, women, entrepreneurship, or writing. It will help you as well.
Awesome. So I'm running the link to the launch party. Put it on your calendar. Come to this event, but I'll put it in the comments too for each where the videos are posted, so that people can find that. And I also know that you have created some wonderful free gifts for people who get your book.
Yes. So if you go to the book page, which is 7 keys to 7 figures book.com, 7 keys to 7 figures book.com, and you sign up and buy the book there, and it's only 99 cents, the digital version, for only another week. You will then get bonuses, and the bonuses include a module from my course. My course is called Keys to Success, and it's 4 modules, and it's a really good course for any woman entrepreneur. And I'm giving you one of the main modules, which is action. So that's one of the bonuses. Another bonus is there's going to be a little video, a visualization video, because I am big on manifestation and visualizing what we want. So I have a pre-recorded video for you on manifestation. You have a chance to win a consulting call with me as well. And of course, an opportunity to help other women rise as well, and to, learn too from other women entrepreneurs who are going to be at the launch and speaking. So it's really there to just help everyone rise however you want to do it.
That is so awesome. And I'm really looking forward to it. I'm gonna show up there. So I will make sure that everybody has the link to come.
Yeah, there you go. That's the link. 7 keys to 7 figures book.com. Yes.
The important thing too is we always have opportunities in it. And if we have too narrow of a focus in our life or our business, even our family, we can't see opportunities because we are so in one track. And for me, when I started reading your book and thinking about, well, you had another really good thing. Is my business serving me, or am I serving my business? And I'm like, okay, that will flip the whole thing. So now I have an opportunity to think about this differently. And when I think about it, if I take action on that, first action is to think and say, oh, well, and like, I feel like this about technology online, right? Is the technology online forcing me to change how I do business because they changed the technology? Or am I choosing to change my business because I can reach more people a different way? So what is my motivator? And that action, just thinking about that, can open up a whole tunnel of other ideas and beliefs that flow together. And so I think that I would encourage everybody to take advantage of the 99-cent offer, because that's a great deal, and get the book and start to explore their own lives and their own limitations. Where that's the thing that's kind of fun for me. It's like, oh wow, really? I put that on here. Nobody put this brick on my head. I put this brick on my head. What happens if I take it off? if I don't like it when I take it off, I can put it back on. It's like a pair of shoes, right? Uh, Nothing is gone, but also when we release the things that are keeping us small or keeping us hidden, we don't know what will show up, what opportunities will show up, what people we will meet. Like meeting you through my other friend is like, what a fun opportunity. So is there anything you want to share with people before we say thank you and have a great day? And
Yeah, I love that. What you just said is that, we only know what we know, right? We already, as long as we keep doing the same thing that we're doing, then the same thing that you've been doing is going to continue to happen. And so we have to ask ourselves, back to kind of your focus, Laura, with the work that you do, the pain, like how big is your pain? It really comes down to that. And is your pain big enough to force you to really make those changes in your life? And if you are right now listening to this and you're really feeling like I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired, it really is time. Then it's your soul, it's your spirit. There's a reason you feel this. It's not because, oh, everyone feels this way. It's because you feel that way. And it's so important to take the action, to make the phone call, to start listening to great podcasts, to pick up inspirational books, all of these things, because there's so much help out there to help move you from a place of pain to a place where you feel empowered in your life. So I hope you'll come also to the book launch. It's going to be really fun Tuesday. It's going to be live streamed on my profile on Facebook, just Leslie Kuster on Facebook, and live stream also on YouTube and on LinkedIn too. So it's really easy to find.
awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming and sharing a little bit about your journey and giving us ideas and thoughts that we can use to explore our own lives and make changes. And also for blazing a trail that other women can use the fact that, well, she did it, so I can do it. Not necessarily the way you did it, but I can do it my way. And if you can do it, then I can do it. And then we can also inspire other people to do it, because it is a change in the world, and it's a free. What I love about you is it's a joyful change. Like it's not a, well, I deserve to have what everybody else has. No, it's I can make this happen. I can make this happen by making different choices, and that's what I think is empowering.
It all starts with our mindset and the stories we tell ourselves. So that's where it all begins. So thank you so much for having me.
It was lovely. Thank you so much.